Hey there YouTube, Space Kangaroo coming back to you with another gameplay commentary. So here we're doing another top 10 Tuesday. I'm only watching this since I am on vacation, so sorry if you haven't seen New Super Mario Bros. U or any normal commentaries of that type. It's because I need to get the top 10 Tuesdays and Fun Fact Fridays out for this week, and like for when I'm gone. So once I get back, from vacation, I'll get back in the swing of things, start making my New Super Mario Bros. U walkthrough, and just keep pushing out videos because I know you guys like them. I keep getting nice vids, so let's hope I grow while I'm gone too. So, and remember, like always, before I get into this, comment down below for the next top 10 Tuesday. So yeah, the Fitzpatrick say top 10 strangest disappearances. Sorry if that comment looks a little weird. Just that person needed to learn a lesson. So yeah. But let's get straight into this, the top 10 strangest disappearances. And there will be no photos for this one because some of these are pretty weird. So, I don't want to give any of these weird photos. Some of them are weird. So we'll start off with number 10. So on September 20th, 1988, a 19-year-old girl named Tara Kliegel left her home in Belen, New Mexico to go bike riding on Highway 47. First thing I gotta say about this, who goes to ride their bike on the highway? I know it is New Mexico, but still, like, you don't go ride your bike on the highway. No one does that, even though it is New Mexico. Have you guys ever ridden your bike on the highway? Because I know I haven't. I know a lot of people haven't. Not the safest thing to do. So neither Tara nor her bicycle were ever seen again. Her case went cold until June 15th, 1989, so almost a year later, when a woman found a Polaroid in a parking spot outside a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida. A white van had previously been parked in the spot, and the photo featured a teenage girl and a young boy who were both bound and gagged in the back of a van. It was speculated that the girl in the photo might be Tara and the boy was Michael Henley, but Michael Henley's remains were soon found in the same area he went missing. Two other photographs featuring a gag girl resembling Tara surfaced over the next few months, but people have never found her. And years later, Valencia County Sheriff publicly stated that he believed that Tara was struck and killed, and that the drivers of the cars, hid her body and fled the scene. So, I mean, she was on the highway, so that's not. I don't doubt that. No one should really go biking on the highway. So, what did we learn from this first one? Don't go biking on the highway. Unless, it's a motorbike. But this was, a bike. So, yeah. Don't go biking on the highway. Alright, so number 9 is on the morning of January 25th, 2006, the husband of 35-year-old Teresa Butler returned to his home in Risco, Missouri after working the night shift and discovered that his wife was missing and their 2 young sons were home alone. Her Jeep was still at the house and there were no signs of struggle or forced entry, but her kids could not shed any light on what happened to her. Teresa's purse and cellular phone were missing, as were a lot of her valuable items from the house, such as a PlayStation video camera and car stereo. However, her wedding rings and jacket were left behind. Things got even more bizarre when authorities discovered that 2 phone calls had been made from Teresa's cell phone shortly after she disappeared, to numbers at 2 different towns in Missouri. The first number did not answer, while the second answered and claimed they heard nothing on the line. And neither of these people had ever heard of Teresa Butler and had no information on her disappearance. So 7 years later, there are still no answers on what happened to her. So, pretty weird. Alright, this next one's sound starts off nice and fun and ends not so much fun. So, on March of 1998, Amy Bradley, 23-year-old from Virginia, went on vacation with her parents and her brother on the Royal Caribbean ship Rhapsody of the Seas. So, I mean, this starts off, oh yeah, family vacation, woo! And while they were in the vicinity of Curacao in the Netherlands, Antilles, Amy mysteriously vanished from the ship. Amy's family last saw her on the suite's balcony in the wee hours of the morning of March 24th, and eyewitnesses reported seeing her in an elevator with a member of the ship's band sometimes afterward. When the ship docked in Curacao, the parents reported her missing, but it was not locked down when the crew searched for her. 7 years later, Amy's parents were emailed a photograph from an adult escort website featuring a woman who resembled her. They speculated that Amy had been smuggled off the ship in Curacao and sold into sexual slavery. And an American sailor said he was in a brothel, and a woman came up to him saying that her name was Amy Bradley and she needed help, but then she was escorted away. So no one knows what happened to her. Yeah, pretty weird. So we move down to number 7, and it's on November 21st, 1987. Karina Lynn Sagers Molansky, 26-year-old woman from Mount Holly, South Carolina, mysteriously disappeared, did not show up for work, and her car was found parked in front of the Mount Holly plantation. But that's not even the most bizarre aspect of the story. On October 4th, 1980, Karina's 8-year-old daughter, Annette Saggers, was on her way to school and went to the bus stop in front of the Mount Holly plantation, and she mysteriously vanished as well. To make things even stranger, a note was found at the bus stop which read, "Dad, Mama, come back, give the boys a hug." While it looked like it may have been written under duress, handwriting experts determined that Annette likely wrote the note. It had been speculated that Annette's mother may have returned to reclaim her daughters so they could disappear together, but she also left 2 sons behind, so after 25 years, no one knows nothing. But in 2000, an anonymous call claimed that Annette's body was buried in Sumter County, but nothing ever happened, so yeah, pretty creepy. So we're going to move down to number 6. So on the morning of August 4th, 1981, a 20-year-old woman named Cynthia Anderson went to her job as a legal secretary at a law firm in Toledo, Ohio. When her employers arrived at work later on, Cynthia had vanished. Purse and car keys were missing, but her vehicle was still parked outside. Yearly, a romance novel she had been reading at her desk was still open to a scene where a heroin addict was abducted at knife point, and the clue could be read as a sign that she staged her own disappearance. But there's been no trace of her or sign of her in over 30 years, and there have been many theories about what happened to Cynthia. A month after her disappearance, police received an anonymous phone call that Cynthia was being held against her own will in the basement of a White House, but this led nowhere, and one of the attorneys at her firm was involved in drug dealing and later went to prison, so people think she may have been murdered, but no one knows. As well, she disappeared. So moving down to number 5, and on the morning of February 14th, 2000, parents of a 9-year-old... Oh, you just heard my phone go off. That happens in videos. I don't know if you heard that. Sorry if you did. So yeah, on the morning of February 14th, 2000, the parents of 9-year-old Asha Degree went to wake her up and discovered she was not in her bed. Even though Asha shared a room with her brother, he had no idea what happened to her. Witnesses later report seeing the girl matching her description walking on the highway around 4 a.m. Going on the highway again? Didn't you already learn going on the highway isn't the safest thing to do? So it seems she may have sneaked out on her own. And she was currently reading a fantasy book in school about children who go on adventures after running away, which could have inspired her actions. Things got even more bizarre once Ash's belongings started turning up. 3 days after she disappeared, Ash's pencil, marker, and hairbow were found in the doorway of a tool shed approximately 1 mile from her home. A year and a half later, Ash's book bag was found 26 miles away. It contained more of her belongings and had been double wrapped in plastic trash bags. This has led authorities to suspect foul play. There's still been no answers why Asha would leave her home in the middle of the night. She may have crossed paths with or what ultimately happened to her. So yeah, who crossed paths with hers? I don't know. And the brother was probably sleeping, and like she was probably like, yeah, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Just, that's what people do. So we're gonna move down to number 4. Number 4 is about Laureen Ron, a 14-year-old girl from Manchester, New Hampshire, who was last seen on the evening of April 26, 1980 during a get-together at her apartment with 2 friends. Lorraine's mother, Judith, came home that night and was baffled to discover that the apartment's building hallway was dark because all the light bulbs had been unscrewed. Judith assumed Lorraine was sleeping in her bed, but in the morning she discovered that it was actually Lorraine's friend, who had no idea where Lorraine was. Police initially suspected Lorraine was a runaway. Things got weird in October of that year when Judith discovered 3 calls to a California on her phone bill, which she never had made. 2 of the calls were made to motels, while the other was made to a teen sexual assistance hotline. The wife of the physician who ran the hotline was known for housing runaways, and at least one of these motels was often used by a notorious child pornographer known as Dr. Z. Yeah, pretty weird. However, authorities couldn't find no evidence to tie Lorraine to any of these leads. For the next several years, Judith would also get mysterious phone calls from a caller who never said anything, but in the end, the ultimate fate of Lorraine remains a mystery. Yeah, so who knows? That one's kind of creepy. Alright, so we're going to move to number 3. So in March of 2000, 23-year-old college student Leah Roberts left on a road trip from her home in Raleigh, North Carolina. She took most of her belongings and her cat with her, but did not tell anyone where she was going. On March 18th, her Jeep was discovered abandoned on a logging road in Whatcom County, Washington. The vehicle had crashed over an embankment. While it's likely the driver would have been injured in an accident like that, there's no sign of any blood. All of Leah's belongings, including a pair of pants containing $2,500, were scattered throughout the scene. There is no trace of Leah or her cat. To make things even stranger, a blanket had been placed over the windows, indicating that someone had used it as a shelter. 1 year later, police received a call from a man claiming that he saw a woman matching her description at a gas station miles away from the scene. The caller said she looked disoriented and, looked crazy. And this has been the only sighting of Leah Roberts after this disappearance. So, who knows what happens to her? Now number 2. This one's pretty crazy. So on April 10th, 1988, 40-year-old Diane Algett left her residence in Odessa, Florida, and mysteriously disappeared. 3 days later, Diane's mother received a message on her answering machine from a woman who sounded just like her daughter. She was saying, "Help, help, let me out," and "Hey, give me that," as the sounds of someone trying to grab the phone away could be heard in the background. The caller ID read Starlight, but there's no answer when Diane's mother called the number back. Things got really morbid on April 15th when the severed tip of Diane's right middle finger was found in the area where she was last seen. 2 weeks later, a bag containing her neatly folded clothing was discovered in a convenience store freezer. 2.5 years later, she went missing. A local paper published a story about her disappearance. The very next day, Diane's brother's girlfriend happened to discover a plastic bag in another convenience store. It had the name Diane written on it. It contained items which belonged to her. In spite of these bizarre clues, no other trace of her has ever been found. Jeez, some of these are weird, you know. They just make me feel weird, you know, saying them, you know, reading them out loud. Yeah, they're pretty weird. So we're down to number 1. Dun 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 dun. It's the oldest one on this list, so this, you know, happened a while ago. So Mary Shotwell Little, a 25-year-old newlywed secretary at a bank in Atlanta, Georgia, mysteriously vanished after having dinner with a friend on the night of October 14th, 1965. The next day, her car was found in the same lot where she had parked the night before. There were indications that it had been driven away from this location and returned. Yet no indications. No, there were indications. Sorry. Her undergarments were neatly folded inside, and there were traces of blood throughout the vehicle. The car also had a license plate which was registered to Mary, and that was not registered to Mary. It had been stolen from another vehicle in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sorry, I kind of have I'm not feeling the best today. It's raining out and stuff, so yeah. The day after she disappeared, Mary's gasoline credit card wound up being used at 2 separate gas stations in Charlotte and Raleigh. The signature for them read Mrs. Roy H. Little Jr. and appeared to be in Mary's handwriting. Both places reported seeing a disheveled woman matching Mary's description, who seemed to have a minor head injury, was in the company of 2 domineering men. There have been many theories about her disappearance, ranging from the obsessive secret admirer to the sex scandal at her workplace, but none of these have ever been proven, so, you know, we don't know what happened to her. Did you guys shake her? Probably not, but, you know, you never know what happens. So this is the end of this top 10 Tuesday. Remember to comment for the next one. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this little 100+ I got here on Nuketown, and have a fantastic day.